Hello, welcome back. We are going to do the lecture on tenses today. So the very obvious question is what are tenses? And I think almost all of you would know that. Tenses basically tell me the time of the action. And if they relate to action, then obviously tenses are verbs. If a verb is in its original form or has an S or an ES, then they are present tense. If the verb is in an ED, or irregular form, so for example, broke, then it's the past tense. And if the verb is preceded with a will or a shall or a would, then it's the future tense. And so there are three tenses: present, past, and future. And if you want to represent it on a timeline, let's call this a timeline. So this is present, which is right now. Anything before right now is past. So all the events on this side of the line are past, and all the events on the right side of the line are future. Present only has one. So let's call this the points of focus. Events which fall here, let's call them points of focus, the time reference. So present only has one point of focus. Past has almost infinite points of focus, and future also has infinite points of focus. So this is one way in which we need to look at tenses, and that has to do with when the event happened. Okay, present, past, or future. So this is one. The other thing you need to remember about tenses is that each tense has something called an aspect. Okay, so tenses have aspects, and some people call them as subtenses. Now the difference between a tense and an aspect is that a tense tells me the time of the action, whereas an aspect tells me the state or the nature of the action. What that means is that, so let's say the same tense, so for example, present tense. So let's say if I say I go for a jog. Now what this means is that I always do that, so this is present. Compare this with I am going. Now both are present, but this means something else and this means something else. This means that right now I am doing it. So that's what is shown by an aspect. So every event that we have, which means every sentence technically, every event has two things. It has a tense, which tells me when the action took place or is going on or will happen, and it has an aspect which tells me the state of the action. So at that point of focus, wherever is, was, or will be, the event is, was, or will be. Did it just happen? Was it going on? Did it get over? So these are determined by aspects. So remember two things to a verb or to an event: the time of the action, which is a tense, and the nature of the state of the action, which is the aspect. So tenses are three: present, past, and future. And aspects, some books say there are three, some books say there are four. We shouldn't get into this. Let's look at them as four. Okay, simple, progressive, which is also known as continuous, perfect, and perfect progressive. So four, one is a combination of two: simple, progressive or continuous, perfect, and perfect progressive or perfect continuous. So these are the tenses and their aspects.